CT Homebrewing, do you see any benefit in having a separate mash lauter ton versus a single mash vessel with full recirculation? What are you talking about, home side or pro side, man? We're going to take the next question, and then I'll know whether it's home or pro, and I can answer that for you. Next question, not so much a question, but this is coming back. This is coming from a channel all-star. A channel all-star. Everybody wants to be him. Nobody can except him. He's Big Josh Halpert. Josh Toft, head brewer, Cartridge Brewing. If you didn't catch my charming conversation with Mr. Toft, Josh Toft, Big Josh Halpert, you need to go check it out. I apologize. We recorded it on location at Josh's place outside with the fire. There was tobacco. It was awesome. And the setup and everything, but my audio was bad. I thought it was reading through my mics. It wasn't. And we sound like we're in a fishbowl, but I would love it if you would go and listen to that and fight through the bad audio. If you are one of those people that hates bad audio, just go listen to it, because I just love Josh and I'm so proud of him. And I just enjoyed the conversation so much. And yeah, please do go listen to it. I think he's absolutely charming. He's smart. He's a good guy, and he's got some good stories to tell. And we just had a blast. So please go check that one out. But Josh has been doing something different at Cartridge because he has tools that we did not have before. So let's talk about how my purging process has changed since I got a Pentair Halfman's Oxy to go. So it's this purging thing that he got from Pentair, from old Sauce Boss up in Cleveland. I used to purge my bright tanks per the advice of the MBAA podcast, where they recommend a 5 psi flow of CO2 through a low port of the tank for a half hour for every 5 barrels of size of the tank. So if you have a 5-barrel tank, you would hook up to the bottom port, CO2, 5 psi, open up the CIP port arm at the top, and purge that for a half hour, and you're going to be there. These are all tips for people that don't have this equipment, right? When he did that, and we've been doing that religiously there for quite some time, the numbers he ended up getting off that process were between 600 and 800 parts per billion after a typical purge. Those numbers are huge. They're not good. You want to see 10 or under. Okay. He said, I never had a chance to test a full sub 10 part per billion purge with the old method, but I'm guessing it would take at least 3 hours, because now it takes me roughly 2 hours to get below 10 parts per billion, now running at 20 psi the entire time. So young Josh has modified practices over there because he now has some better tools to work with. This NBA podcast that I listened to, we did exactly what they were saying. And I'm wondering if a couple of things are going on here. I'm wondering if, because I know people maybe don't like, you think, well, it's your beer, so you wouldn't really find fault in it. I think that our beer was, we did a pretty good job with oxygen with beer. I'm sure we could always do better. I don't think we had a huge issue with staling or anything like that. I mean, those beers have won medals and everything like that. And that's not to say, oh, well, that means, but I mean, it doesn't hurt, right? And I know what oxidation tastes like, and, I can be blind, but I feel like by and large, we did a pretty good job. So what I think might be happening here is the reason why the beer wasn't garbage, which that's what it implies almost, that with a 600 to 800 parts per billion number, that the beer should be garbage. So The reason why I think that it wasn't garbage is we did that slow transfer. And one of the reasons they recommend the slow transfer in the podcast is it discusses that you kind of slowly build a full column of CO2 that slowly rises through the tank. Okay. My guess is that as I was transferring the beer in relatively gently, that we were still evacuating out some of that additional O2 that was in the headspace. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how much longer it takes for it to close that out, that 600 to 800, because I have another buddy who was doing some purging, and he was saying that I think he was going slow and steady, and he was getting big numbers, and then boom, all of a sudden it just dropped. And that would support the argument that it's kind of gently from the bottom filling, not like swirling, but gently filling and creating a very dense CO2 almost cylinder going up through. Don't think it because it's not a solid, but kind of raising that atmosphere out. That might be kind of what we're looking at there. So I did want to touch base with you guys on that. And as Josh is able to mess around with a little bit more, I'll definitely keep you in the loop. But yes, he is using a Pentair Halfman's Oxy to go. So that might be an option. And yeah, something to check out. I might need to, he had to amend some processes, but that's kind of the point here, guys, is that, the stuff that I'm talking about, it's what I'm doing now with the equipment that I have now. Right. And sometimes you just don't have access to different things. So you keep your head down, keep working, do as much as you can with what you have. And when you can make those steps forward, awesome. Right. So anyways, thanks, Big Josh Halpert, for telling me about what you're doing over there with purging. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're going to maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.